Hello there, Professor. First time to Pendleton? It's as close as you can get to Nye County without actually having to step foot in it. You're going to be familiar with our victim, Manuel Molinas.
Drug dealer we just arrested for the murder of Jessica Marnier. He's connected to Beatrice Salazar. What's he doing in a Pendleton jail cell?
A few years back, feds decided they needed a facility to handle their more sensitive prisoner transfers in and out of the southwest United States. Someplace off the radar. Someplace like Pendleton. So they wrote a big check to the town council and upgraded their existing jailhouse in exchange for occasionally taking over the place. Our tax dollars at work.
I thought this building looked a little too metropolitan for a town of 35. Isn't that officer one of ours?
Yes, he is, but Sergeant Lip's been tapped before by the feds to coordinate this kind of transfer. Their plan was to quietly move Molinas out of our lockup and into this undisclosed location, then hold him here until he could be interviewed by a federal prosecutor and formally transferred into federal custody.
Not a bad plan. I wonder what went wrong.
Looks like everything. Okay, I don't need to tell you. This is now priority number one. Molinas' transfer was on a need-to-know basis. The first I heard of it, the sheriff and the deputy director of the FBI had me on the speakerphone, screaming that somebody dropped the ball. So I got my ass out of there and secured the scene.
Is Agent Huntby still missing?
Yes. And based on his apparent effort to sabotage your handling of the DNA evidence in the Salazar case, the FBI strongly suspects he was a mole for Salazar, and now officially considers his disappearance UFAP.
Unlawful flight to avoid prosecution, meaning he's a fugitive, and very likely a suspect in this homicide. Sergeant Lip should consider himself a very lucky man. Whoever broke in here to silence Molinas wouldn't have wanted to leave a living witness. We'll need to get a full statement from him. This digital recorder stored all the footage from the security cameras in the station. The hard drive's been crushed. We might be able to put it back together at the lab, but it'll probably take weeks to do that, plus salvage any data on it, and that's if we're lucky. I think we might learn more by just putting the case back together. Certainly be a better use of our time.
Hey.
Sergeant Lip, I'm Ray Langston. My partner and I are with the Las Vegas Crime Lab.
Yeah, great. But please, call me Tim. This is just a spectacular screw-up. Nope. After I regained consciousness, I opened up the cell in order to check on the condition of the prisoner. And that's when I observed the multiple bullet wounds to Mr. Molinas, and I quickly determined that he had died of those wounds. Mr. Molinas was here awaiting his interview and formal transfer into federal custody. I'd say approximately an hour before the federal authorities were scheduled to arrive, around maybe 8 p.m. or thereabouts, this tall, and if I remember correctly, Hispanic male, wearing a suit, he enters the facility and presents FBI credentials. I turned around to reach for the paperwork, and bam! That's the last thing I remember.
That's a pretty serious head wound you have there, Tim. Looks like you lost quite a bit of blood. You might want to get that looked at right away.
You know, it must look a lot worse than it feels right now. Honestly, I feel okay. And if you don't mind, I'd like to stay here as long as you might need me. No, I didn't. Whatever it was, knocked me out in one hit. I woke up behind the desk here, and then I went to check on the condition of the prisoner. I observed that he'd been shot multiple times, and that he was dead.
What did you do next?
I called it in, tended to my head injury as best I could, and just waited for you guys to show up.
You didn't observe any further sign of the shooter, or whether he had an accomplice?
I didn't see anything. He was long gone, or they were gone. I don't know if he had help. Unfortunately, the assailant disabled our surveillance. He smashed the recording unit to pieces, what's left of that DVR over there. I don't remember the name on the identification. I'm sorry. I thought I got a really good look at it, too, because I didn't recognize the fella, but it's all real foggy to me right now.
I understand that this kind of prisoner transfer is on a need-to-know basis, but is it standard operating procedure to post a single guard?
No, it isn't. But in this case, it was necessary because, well, you might find this a little hard to believe, but our budget's been cut pretty radically, so the truth is, we couldn't afford to assign an additional officer. We were definitely whistling through the graveyard, I know that now, hoping we could get away with this one, but we were wrong.
Who made the final decision that you alone would transport and protect Mr. Molines?
I did, actually. The sheriff ordered the prisoner transfer, but I'm the sergeant in charge of operational command. That means duty assignments, tactical protocols, and budget outlays. I was the one who evaluated our risk assessment on this one, and I was wrong. Dead wrong.
We all make mistakes, Tim.
Yeah, only this mistake cost a man his life, Mr. Langston. When federal authorities need the building, the sheriff and his deputy actually work out of his house. Can you believe that? There's just not much crime here in Pendleton. Not much of anything here, really. From what I remember, he was tall, approximately 6'1", Hispanic male, between 200 and 225 pounds, clean cut. I mean, I don't think he would have caught me off guard if he hadn't looked like a federal prosecutor or FBI agent. Hey, let me know if you find something, okay? Maybe you guys can help save my job.
We'll do our best, Tim. Now, if you don't mind, I'm also a doctor, so I'd like to take a look at your head wound there.
Yeah, okay.
Good news here is you're going to live, but you're going to need stitches. So now that you've given us your statement, Tim, I am not taking no for an answer. We're going to get you to the hospital.
Okay, I understand. Thanks, Doc.
That's the rag Sergeant Lip applied to his head to staunch the bleeding. Looks like a small caliber automatic. A 22, maybe a 25. From what I've observed of the victim's wounds, this could be our murder weapon, but I'm letting myself get ahead of the evidence, aren't I? Let's see what Doc Robbins has to tell us at autopsy. Yellow powder. We'll want to get that back to the lab. The cell was locked during the shooting. We don't know exactly where the shooter was standing as he fired, but that powder might indicate his position. Well done. I believe we have enough evidence here to begin processing at the lab. It's your call. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Molines was a sitting target in here. I'll call the coroner to pick up the body. We need to get a reference sample of the ammunition fired by this pistol to compare against the slugs found in the victim. This pistol fires .22 caliber long rifle cartridges. Unfortunately, not a particularly unique type of ammunition. It's a favorite among amateur hunters as well as professional assassins. Sergeant Lip may have been pistol whipped. fragment of some kind. It looks like it got wedged in the slide. Whatever it is, it's underneath the blood, which means it was there before the blood was. If he left it for us, I'm sure Sergeant Lip wouldn't mind if we processed a sample of his DNA. Pollen of the southwestern wood lily. This flower is native to Nevada, but it's rare. Blood on the gun here is Sergeant Lip's, which means it was definitely used to strike him in the head. Looks like there's a small piece of it missing. You know that shard we found wedged in the gun at the crime scene? I think it just might fit in this gap. Let's try it. Yes, a perfect fit.
Ray, where are we now with the Molina's case? I read Sergeant Lip's statement.
Well, Sergeant Lip isn't telling us the whole truth.
How do you know?
We recovered a gun at the crime scene, and wedged in the slide, we found a broken piece of the unit which records all the surveillance footage. Now, not only was that shard stuck in the gun, but it was also underneath some blood. Blood which turns out to belong to our very own Sergeant Lip. It means that little piece of plastic was in there before Sergeant Lip was struck in the head.
But according to Sergeant Lip, the assailant entered, presented him with ID, and then when the sergeant turned his back, the assailant knocked him out. You'd think he would have noticed the assailant smashing up surveillance equipment before he got knocked out.
You'd think so. You'd also think Sergeant Lip wouldn't turn his back on a guy like that maybe he'd even draw his own weapon. But for some reason, that's not how it went down.
Hello there, it's Doc Robbins down in the morgue. I've finished the autopsy on Manuel Molina's. So whenever you're ready, I'm available to review my findings with you. Nice to see you. How can I help? Absolutely. I have a sample ready for you. Here. I found a glob of what looks like mucus on the victim's face. I collected some for you.
Someone spat on his face?
That's what it looks like. You see, the less viscous bits appeared to flow down the side of his face. So unless he was already lying on the floor when he was shot, it occurred post-mortem. I found 2 bullet wounds, both potentially fatal, and both were consistent with the damage you'd expect from a small caliber hollow point. One bullet penetrated his heart practically dead center. It severed the pulmonary and aortic valves and lodged in the ventricular wall. That alone would have killed him. However, I also found what I believe was the first shot. It penetrated the frontal bone of his cranium just above the glabella. Bullet obliterated his brain tissue in an expanding channel from the entrance wound. It then bounced off the back of his skull and continued its path of destruction until it came to rest in the cerebellum. Death was quick, if not painless.
Well, this wasn't a mercy killing. One to the head, one to the heart, usually suggests a professional killer.
Neither slug was particularly difficult to extract. Here they are. Anytime.
It's confirmed. The gun from the crime scene is the murder weapon. Both bullets taken from the victim were fired from the same gun. Beatrice Salazar. She spat on Molina's corpse. I wonder if that was a message for him or for us. Catherine, you need to see this.
Is this right? You found Beatrice Salazar's DNA in the cell.
She shot Molina's and spat on his face.
Well, she wasn't about to have him try to testify against her, that's for sure. But why would she risk trying to kill him herself? That doesn't make sense. Unless, of course, she also held him responsible for having to kill her own son.
But even under normal circumstances, this would have been a suicide mission. Not a lot of guys are crazy enough to do something like that. Even the ones that work for her.
I think she's crazy enough now to do just about anything.
Well, that may be true, but maybe she wasn't taking as much of a risk as we think. Sergeant Lip described the assailant as a tall Hispanic male posing as an FBI agent. What do you really think the chances are that Beatrice Salazar has become a master of disguise?
I think we need to be very careful if you're suggesting Sergeant Lip may be involved here. I realize we have evidence that contradicts the sergeant's initial statement, but if we're going to pursue this, then we better make damn sure our evidence is unimpeachable. Keep me in the loop, Ray.
Jim, we've uncovered evidence which substantially contradicts Sergeant Lip's account of the shooting.
What evidence? What are you talking about? The guy was viciously attacked. His skull was almost busted in. I mean, it's not like he's gonna have some photographic memory of exactly what happened. The surveillance unit was smashed before Lip was knocked out. Okay, we should clear this up with him. But I won't let it become a fishing expedition. You understand?
What's going on here, Captain?
Just a few follow-up questions, Tim. We just need to document everything for the record.
Tim, according to your statement, the assailant entered the jail, offered you an FBI ID, and when you turned around to process it, he struck you over the back of the head, rendering you unconscious. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It went down pretty fast.
You see this little piece of plastic? It comes from that unit which records all the footage from the surveillance cameras. We found it stuck inside the slide of the gun that struck you. Problem is, we found your blood on top of it, not underneath as you'd expect, if your statement were accurate. It looks as though the DVR was struck before you were.
I don't know how that could have happened. Wait, couldn't he have hit me more than once, like after I was out?
If you were struck more than once, we should be able to tell from the pattern of the bruising.
I don't know about that. I've had about enough of people touching my head today.
Sergeant Lip, let's not make this more complicated than it needs to be. If necessary, I'll get a warrant.
Damn it. Okay, do what you have to do.
This won't hurt at all. My partner just needs to take a picture. And that's it. Like I said, painless.
Yeah, thanks. No, like I said, tall, Hispanic male, wearing a business suit, approached me. He showed me an FBI badge, an ID. Look, do you need me to sit with a sketch artist? I can do that if it'll help.
We found Beatrice Salazar's DNA on Manuel Molina's corpse.
Beatrice Salazar? What are you talking about?
Are you familiar with Beatrice Salazar?
I'm familiar with the FBI's most wanted list.
Are you sure you never saw Miss Salazar?
I told you what I saw. I guess it's possible she came in after I was out cold.
You know the drill, Sergeant. I want to be able to find you when we need you again.
Yeah, sure. I'm not going anywhere.
see evidence of a single wound. The bruising on Sergeant Lip's head is a perfect match to the shape of the murder weapon. That little divot there is right where the DVR shard was, and those ovals are consistent with the finger placement of someone holding the gun by the grip. There's something strange about the angle, though. The gun was upside down. To strike someone with a gun while you're holding it by the grip, you're either hitting with the butt, like a hammer, or with the side of the gun like you're swinging a haymaker punch or slapping someone. If Sergeant Lip was struck from behind, like he says he was, then the gun would be right side up. Sergeant Lip did this to himself.
That's right. I had my back turned and he hit me in the back of the head.
Here's the problem, Tim. You see those oval patterns right there? They indicate the gun that hit you was held by the grip. And if you were hit from behind, like you said, well, then the gun should be right side up. And it's not.
Yeah, sure, the first time he hit me, but what about after I was out? He could have hit me again, right? Maybe he wasn't just trying to knock me out. He may have been trying to kill me.
There's no physical evidence you were hit more than once, Tim. And let's say for the sake of argument, you were hit twice. Right on the exact same spot on the back of your head. It still doesn't explain why the gun was upside down.
You staged your injury, didn't you, Sergeant? You're in Salazar's pocket. And you used your position as duty sergeant to arrange to be alone with Molina's. Then you let Salazar in there. And let's be generous here. Let's just say she's the one who actually pulled the trigger. And then the good little soldier you are, you cleaned up after her, didn't you? You make me sick. And you know what? I hope there's a special place in hell for dirt like you, because I know there's a special place in prison.
It wasn't like that. I mean, look, you gotta understand, I'm in way over my head here. You're right. It was a setup. After Molina's was booked, I got a call. Same call I always got if Salazar needed something from me. This time, the voice on the other end of the line is telling me to keep my eye on Molina's. Turns out I don't need to look very hard, because the sheriff calls me almost immediately with the order to have Molina's moved out to Pendleton and transferred to federal custody. So I call my contact back, give him the tip. Then he starts asking me to describe the Pendleton facility and the security detail handling the transfer, and that's when I realize Salazar is going to take Molina's out. I decide to assign myself the transfer just so nobody else gets hurt.
How very noble of you, Tim.
Look, I'm not proud of what I did. This is all way beyond anything I've had to do for Salazar before. Usually it's just about providing certain information now and then. I can't.
You can't. Or you won't.
I wasn't there. All I did was unlock the door, and then I got the hell out of there.
Why do I find that so hard to believe?
You gotta believe me. See, this is what happened. I got this phone call from my brother-in-law. Swear to God, he works for Salazar too. He says Salazar's gone off the deep end. She's getting the hell out of town, but before she does, she's totally cleaning house. And she's not leaving any loose ends, including me.
Was that supposed to make us feel sorry for you?
I had no choice.
You're a cop, damn it. Well, not anymore.
Come on, we're talking about my sister and her kids here, all right? Salazar was gonna kill him if I didn't help her. Don't you get it? When she finds out I'm in custody, she's gonna kill him anyway.
What's your sister's address? What's her address? Come on, we don't have much time.
I don't know where they are. That's the point.
Salazar has them?
No, her husband, my brother-in-law, he hid them someplace. I don't know where. I can't reach him. I haven't been able to reach him since he called to tell me Salazar was cutting bait. I think Salazar may have gotten to him. And if she did, my sister and her kids, they're dead. There's nothing more you can do. They're dead.
Okay, so who's your brother-in-law?
He works for the FBI. Special Agent Huntby. Gene. My brother-in-law is Gene Huntby.
Nice work, guys. Just got off the phone with the DA. Sergeant Lip is going to be charged as an accessory to murder.
Was Brass able to locate Lip's sister?
Not yet. He gave us Sergeant Lip's cell phone number and an attorney general's waiver. Lip's been in contact with his brother-in-law, Huntby, within the last 24 hours. So, Brass is hoping we'll be able to find Huntby before it's too late for his wife and kids. We know Huntby's last cell phone call to his brother-in-law pinged a cell tower over in North Las Vegas. Brass has his guys checking hotels in the area, but so far, nothing. I can't tell you how bad I want to take down Huntby, but making sure his wife and kids are safe is now our #1 priority.
The key to finding the family is finding Huntby.
So track him down. I know if anybody can do it, you can. Keep me informed.
Tim, it's Gene. Call me back. I don't want you to worry. I got them to a safe place. For now, anyway. Look, I'll be honest. This is all unraveling so fast. I don't know how long I can...
Waiting on some jerk to get out of the way so we can take...
Just hang on for one damn minute, will you? Just call me back, okay?
That's not much to go on, I'm afraid, but didn't it sound as if he had words for someone in the background?
Hey, pal, you mind? You're blocking the freight elevator. Hello? Yeah, we're at Gleason's right now. Waiting on some jerk to get out of the way so we can take the stuff upstairs.
Gleason's. Why does that sound familiar? You know, when I first moved out here with my whole life in tow and I wasn't exactly sure how long I was going to stay, a friend of mine suggested a storage facility. And I seem to remember the name being... There it is. Gleason's Family Self-Storage. Owner said a man fitting Agent Huntby's description is using this storage locker. He's renting it under an alias. Huntby's wife and children, this may be useful. These boots look like they've been used recently. These are ripe. Odd. Why go through so much trouble just to keep some blank papers safe? Looks like we found the source of that smell. Lysichiton americanus, the common skunk cabbage. This plant isn't native to the Nevada desert. Huntby must have traveled somewhere outside of Vegas to have stepped on it, and that trip couldn't have been too long ago. Otherwise, the plant wouldn't still be emitting that odor. Wherever Huntby went to get skunk cabbage on his boots, it couldn't have been too far from town. I can only think of one reason for him to get out of town so fast. So we need to talk to someone who knows him well, someone who's familiar with his daily habits, Someone who might be able to give us some insight into where he's been. Blank paper. But do you smell lemons? Did you know that lemon juice can be used as invisible ink? Urine can too, but it seems that we lucked out this time.
You guys find my sister? Is she alive? No idea. That's an old picture. His kids are in high school now. You find my sister yet? Skunk cabbage.
It's a plant not native to the desert. It's found in rainforests and swamplands. Occasionally, you may find one in a mountainous region.
No, nothing at all like that. They never went anywhere. My sister used to complain about it all the time. But I think Gene was too scared to leave, in case someone found out what he was up to while he was gone. Wait a second. I do remember something. When the kids were small, around the time that photo was taken, there was a place not far from here.
Mountains? Lake?
Mountains. Close to Zion National Park.
Utah?
Yeah, we vacationed there together, all of us. I remember that plant now because it smelled terrible whenever we stepped on one. Burl, that's the name of the town. Burl, Utah. Gene talked about buying a place there all the time afterwards. Come on, you gotta check it out. If Salazar finds them before you do, they're all dead.
We're coordinating with the Utah State Police. There's only one highway in and out of Burl, and they've got roadblocks and checkpoints up. We got something. Utah Highway Patrol just stopped and searched an SUV registered to a Salazar associate. 4 men inside the vehicle. All were taken into custody without incident.
Well, do we know if they were coming or going?
I'm not exactly sure. The men haven't been booked yet, and the officers haven't filed their reports.
What about the search for Huntby's wife and children?
Utah State Police tell me that the sheriff in Burl hasn't found them yet. Hang on. This could be the sheriff now. Brass. Whoa. Slow down, Doc. Are you sure? Okay then, I'll send them right over. We found Huntby.
Great. Is he saying where his wife and children are hiding?
He's not saying anything. He's dead. Apparently someone broke into the coroner's office and left him just lying there in the hall outside the morgue.
My God. It looks like hundreds, maybe thousands of bee stings. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of being 2 steps behind Beatrice Salazar, assuming she's responsible for this. There's got to be something here that will lead us directly to her. Let's find it. We can't take that. I guarantee you won't find any fingerprints on that. I don't think that will get you what you want. Looks like a serial number. We'll see if Brass can have it traced. We may need this for comparison later.
I can't believe this is happening. Look, I really don't want to contaminate the crime scene, You need to collect whatever you need to and figure out who dumped the body in here and how. And once you've done with that, I'll go to work on Huntby. I just got a call saying they found it a few blocks from where it was stolen, right around the corner from the select stop. They've got it impounded. With the way things are right now, it'll be a week before I get it back. Never seen it before. I assume the guys who broke in here used it to roll Huntby's body in. I won't know until I do an autopsy, and I can't do an autopsy until you guys release the hallway so I can actually get to the morgue. If I had to guess, though, toxic shock related to the literally thousands of bee stings all over his body. If this Queen of the Hive lady's trying to send us a message, well, she's not being very damn subtle, I can tell you that. That's right. The audacity of these people. They're lunatics. So I get this call from my wife. She's shopping at Select Stop. It's this new big hardware store over on Silverado. Anyway, she calls me and says our car's been stolen. We just bought one of those Zeus XTs, too. Thing's barely been used. Anyway, I leave to pick her up and file a police report. And when I walk back in here, there's Agent Huntby, right there in the hall. Bee stings covering almost his entire body. Never seen anything like it. I have no idea. David was out on a call and both my coroner's assistants called in sick today. So I have no witnesses for you. I'm sorry. Hey, I'll make you a deal. Clear the path to my morgue and I'll do an autopsy on Huntby if I have to work all night. In the meantime, I'll stick around the lab and see if I can help Hodges. I'm sure he'll appreciate the extra set of eyes double-checking his work.
Looks like a fresh transfer of some kind. Maybe paint? Like auto paint. Maybe Brass can tell us more about what kind.
Okay, let's run it. Looks like your card is made for the Select Stop Corporation. That's that new chain of big box hardware stores in the area. Sure. The color and composition of that auto paint is specific to the Zeus XT. I'd say it's pretty likely whoever stole that card probably stole it at the same time they stole Robbins' Zeus XT from the Select Stop parking lot. Poor guy, he's not going to get his car back soon. I'm going to have it picked up and taken over to the garage. Sure.
The paint's scratched. That must be where the transfer on the card came from. Those are Doc Robbins' parking credentials to access the secure lot behind the morgue. Aha! Look at that. That fingerprint could belong to Dr. Robbins or his wife. We'll have to run it. We can't take that. Looks like blood. I'm comfortable clearing Robbins' vehicle for now. Good work. Say hello to your suspect, Doc Robbins.
Man, I wish I could be there with you guys when you slap the cuffs on this idiot.
That confirms that Huntby's body was definitely in your truck, Doc.
Oh, great. Judy'll be thrilled. I hope she doesn't make me sell it.
Your wife does know what you do for a living, right?
So let me get this straight. This Gamos guy steals my car from the Select Stop parking lot, picks up Huntby's body, drives it to the morgue, waits until he sees me leave, then accesses the morgue's employee lot with my new car. Then he dumps the body in the hallway.
He also put a nasty scratch on your car with the flatbed cart he stole.
I've had enough. Beatrice Salazar better pray there isn't a scrap of evidence on Huntby's body, because if there is, I'm going to find it.
May we join you, Doctor?
Please do. Thanks again for clearing the way to the morgue so quickly. Nothing. Not under the fingernails, not in his mouth. I haven't checked stomach contents yet. It's over there in the pan if you want to look at them yourself. In the pan, right over there. Knock yourself out.
Smells almost fragrant. We should analyze it.
By the way, Brass says I'll get my car back by tomorrow. Thanks for working so fast. Yes, now that you mention it, there are ligature marks on his wrists. There are no stings there, so he was likely tied up while being stung to death. There are similar marks on his ankles as well. The toxin from the bee stings caused Huntby to go into shock. From there, his blood pressure dropped and his lungs filled with fluid, which stopped the flow of oxygen to his vital organs, eventually stopping his heart. My guess is it was a slow and painful way to die.
Exactly the way Salazar would have wanted it. looks like honey. Another Queen of the Hive reference, maybe. So Huntby is stung to death by bees and his stomach is filled with honey. And we found pollen from a rare species of flower near Manuel Molines. There have been studies that prove that honey and the pollen it synthesized from share genetic markers. I'd be interested to see if the genetic composition of the honey we found in Huntby's stomach happens to resemble that of the pollen we found near Molines. There can't be a lot of honey farms that have this type of rare flower growing nearby. Not in Nevada, anyway. We need to talk to Brass. We found honey synthesized by the southwestern wood lily in Huntby's stomach. Jim, this flower is extremely rare. It only grows in a few places in Nevada, and only one is remotely close to Vegas. If there's more than one apiary there, I'd be very surprised.
A honey farm, huh? Let's find out. I got a hit, Ray. You were right. It's the only apiary around. Nice work, guys. Let's roll. Got it. I'll let them know. Thanks. Well, I got good news and bad news.
Good news first, please.
I just got a call from the sheriff in Burl, Utah. They found Huntby's wife and kids safe and sound. Salazar's men hadn't gotten there before the Stadies arrested them.
That is a relief.
The bad news. Nick says that none of the bodies we've hauled out of here to the morgue are a match for Salazar. But Robbins did ID his car thief, Mr. Manuel Gamos.
So Salazar escaped.
It's impossible, Ray. We had choppers in the sky with infrared. We established a secure perimeter around the place. Now either she's dead and buried somewhere underneath all this rubble, or... I don't know.
If she's left any trace of her whereabouts, we'll find it, Jim.
All right, I'm gonna stick around just in case. Let me know if you need anything.
Good job. This chair might be where Agent Huntby was tied while being stung to death. That's strange. Lots of crushed honeybees next to those which are still completely intact. Did you know the honeybee is over 50% crude protein? Instead of blood, they have something called hemolymph, which should still be detectable in the same way we confirm the presence of blood. You see that? The LCV is revealing footsteps tracked through the insect's hemolymph. Let's check out where they lead. Here, let me help you with that.
Shh. We need to get this open right now. This could be a tunnel out of here, a bomb shelter, an ammo cache. We don't know. We don't have time to get the guys in here to blow this thing, so get it open. Now.
I'd rather we didn't guess. We might give whoever's inside a warning. Or worse, we might set off another explosion. There must be some way to figure out which numbers on the pad have been pressed. 2, 5, 8, and 9. Okay, now that we know the numbers, all we need is the right sequence. 2, 5, 8, 9. Those numbers are familiar. I've seen them somewhere recently. They've got something to do with Salazar, I just can't remember what. Like Salazar's bribe sheet. Those are the names of all the public officials on her payroll. Brass is going to love this. If we apply a little bit of heat to this type of invisible ink, then whatever's written in the lemon juice will become visible. This looks like a breakdown of Salazar's distribution network in the Southwest United States. Names, amounts, delivery routes. Maybe Huntby found himself an insurance policy, just in case he got in too deep with Salazar. Hold on, that's it. 9582. September 5th, 1982, the day she killed her husband, is the sequence to the combination on the keypad.
Freeze! Okay, here's the situation. I'm mobilizing a security detail that will be ready any second. I'll give you the last word with Salazar before we go, but make it quick. Then we're getting the hell out of here, and the first round's on me. All right?
You. I know you. Where's your lady friend with a smart mouth? I'm still going to kill you. You know that, don't you? You are so very naive. Hasn't anyone ever told you what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? and there will never be anyone as strong as I am.
I'm not sure you could fully appreciate the fact that Huntby betrayed you. Before he died, he compiled detailed information regarding your network of dealers. That information is now in our possession, and we will be handing it over to our own district attorney, as well as the Department of Justice.
I see. Enjoy this moment while you can, Dr. Ray, because it shall be called comfort to you as you weep over the ashes of your family. I want you to be able to remember just how delicious this moment was for you, when all you can taste is fear. I didn't kill my son. You killed him when you exposed him.
No, Miss Salazar. Your son was looking for his long-lost mother, and when he found you, you took his life away, squeezed it out of him with your own hands.
You will never understand the cruelty of mercy. I spared my son this life. Are you sure about that, my dear? I own politicians, judges, DAs. Everyone has a price, and I own them all. I do not think you fully appreciate the height to which I have risen. Your reach exceeds your grasp. You will never touch me. The truth is, when I make money, those on that list there, well, they make money too. And I make a lot of money, you see. Why don't you join us? I can make it very much worth your while. You can go to bed tonight a millionaire and wake up tomorrow with 10 times that. How does that sound to you?
We'll be sure to note the bribery attempt in your arrest report.
Why, do you really think you'll live that long?
We'll risk it. It's just part of our job.
This is not the end. You shall see me again. Not in any jail, cell, or courtroom. No. And when you do see me again, you will beg for your life. And what do you think I shall say to you then? Huh? What do you think I shall say when you beg me for your life? Because you will beg.
Well, thanks to you two, the LVPD is being hailed as the hero for the most successful interruption of illegal drug trafficking since the assassination of Pablo Escobar. Eckley's holding a press conference as we speak.
I'm just glad Beatrice Salazar is in custody.
This Queen of the Hive business has been a rough ride, but you managed to hang on. Believe me, this is going to look pretty good on your quarterly performance review. Hang on, I should take this. Willows. What? Oh my God, when? All right, let me know if you find out anything else.
Something wrong?
Yeah. A prisoner transport was just ambushed en route to the county lockup. She's gone. Salazar's escaped.